Started. I'm gonna start recording. If you want to turn your video screen off, that's fine with me. I like to see you guys, so if you want to leave it on, that's great too, but either way is fine with me. Let me share my screen so you can see what I'm looking at. You are gonna go into assignments on Canvas, and you are gonna go down to Wednesday, 4/29, which is today. And when you scroll down, you will see the assignment there. Some of you might have to click the blue authorize button. But here's what we got going for us today. We're gonna do the reading, we're gonna finish the book. Not that many pages to read today. And 3 questions, 2 of them are the race strategy, and then the last one is more of just like a personal response. Oh man, I've got so many people in the waiting room. Here we go. All right, guys, I just had a couple of you join. We're getting started with the lesson here. So we are going on to Canvas and pulling up the assignment today if you just joined. Also, I didn't have time to eat my lunch before, so you're gonna see me eating noodles during this lesson today. Okay, so you guys should have today's assignment up Wednesday, 4/29. I am gonna open it on my drive so that it's easier to see. Okay, and let's open the text for today. You're gonna scroll down all the way to where it says 145 for the page number, because we are at the end of the book. Okay, the last thing that we kind of happened to us was Mrs. Matsunawa, who's been letting them stay with them. She's been hiding them from the police, and they've been paying her. We think that the Nazis were coming to her house to clean her out. She runs in and says, "You have to get out right now." So they leave and they go to a construction site to spend the night. They're in hiding, obviously, and not supposed to be there. So we're on page 145. It started to be light. Come, we won't be noticed if we mix with people out on the street. I'm so tired and cold. We can rest now. We came finally again to this place with the cow when we went inside. Later, Kauka came in. Who's in here? The Spiegelmans. We had nowhere else to go. Well, I guess you can stay, but remember, I don't know that you're here. Why, Mrs. Spiegelman, you're shivering. You can come into my house for an hour or so until you warm up. She took Anya inside and she brought me some food. In those days, I was so strong I could sit even in the snow all night. I think somebody's got feedback on their mic, y'all. If you can mute it when you're not talking, that would be helpful. Thank you so much. Things can't be this bad everywhere. I would give anything to get out of Poland. You know, before I took you in, I had a young man and his son here. Hold on a second. Can you guys be just a little bit quiet? Thank you. Just don't worry about it right now. 2 people I know smuggled them into Hungary. I heard he and his boy were doing well there. Hungary, really? I'd like to meet those smugglers. She told me these 2 acquaintances visited often to her on Thursday evenings. Today was maybe a Monday. I don't get it. Wasn't Hungary as dangerous as Poland? No, for a longer time it was better there in Hungary for the Jews. But then near the very finish of the war, they all got put also to Auschwitz. So there's this kind of hope that they're hoping that these 2 people that she knows can smuggle them out from where they are in Poland and get them out to Hungary. I was there and I saw it. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of Jews from Hungary. So many, there wasn't even enough room to bury them all in the ovens. But at that time when I was there with Kauka, we could not know that then. So I went the next day to Curtis Street to buy food. Oh God, Mr. Spiegelman, you're alive. I'm so glad to see you. Mrs. Matsunawa. I wanted to find a new connection to hide us, but really I didn't think to find again her. Praise Mary that you're safe. I couldn't sleep. I felt so guilty about chasing you and your wife out. The Gestapo, that's the Nazis, never even came to my house. I just panicked over nothing. Please come back again. Anya was glad of going back, and Matsunawa also. Always I paid her nicely. And that same night we said goodbye to Kauka and we went again to Sospenes. After we were back only a short time, well, my husband writes that he's coming home for his 10-day vacation. If he knew that you were here, he would throw us all out. But don't worry, you'll be all right in my cellar. I set up a mattress. I'll come down whenever I can. So each day and night we sat in such a storage locker. In the days we were afraid to breathe, people came down often to their lockers. At night, we could move around a little, but there was something else down here. Ah, what is it? There are rats down here. Shh, calm down, stop screaming. Those aren't rats, they're very small. One ran over my hand before, they're just mice. Of course, they were really rats, but I wanted Anya to feel more easy. But then Matsunawa stopped to come down. It's been 3 days since she brought any food. Here, have another candy. I still had candies that I organized in Jakarta. Only this we had to eat. Also here we had no place where to wash, so Anya got on all her skin a terrible rash. I don't know what's worse, the hunger or the itching. Don't scratch it, only, shh, the door. Oh, I'm sorry I couldn't get down before. My husband is getting suspicious. He asked why I go to the cellar so often. He even asked if I was hiding Jews down here. He was joking, but still. Are you all right here? There are rats, giant rats. They're horrible. Well, you're better off with the rats than with the Gestapo. At least the rats won't kill you. And she was right. We were happy even to have these conditions. After the 10 days, her husband left and she took us back. It's good to be home, huh, Vladik? It's a lot nicer than in that cellar. But I didn't feel safe here. There was too many ways that somebody could find us out. I wanted to go better to Hungary. So when it came Thursday, I went in the direction to take a streetcar to see Kauka and Sosnowiec. Look, I had to pass where some children were playing. A Jew, a Jew. They ran screaming home. Help, mommy, a Jew. Quick, the mothers came outside to see what was. The mothers always told, be careful, a Jew will catch you to a bag and they will eat you. So they taught this to their children. I approached over to them, Hail Hitler. If I ran away, they would see, yes, it is a Jew here. Don't be afraid, little one, I'm not a Jew, I won't hurt you. Sorry, mister, you know how kids are. Hail Hitler. So I came out well from this, but the experience cost me really a lot of hairs. Yeah, so we see that he's having to kind of pretend to be what he's not, just to keep himself alive. He's pretending he's not a Jew when he really is, and having to hide in cellars. So a lot of this is having to pretend and to kind of fake your way through things in order to just stay alive. Page 150. When I arrived to Kauka, the two smugglers were there together sitting in the kitchen. These are the people that can hopefully get them out of the country. Please wait in the other room. They will see you soon. Mr. Mandelbaum, Vladik Spiegelman, Mandelbaum before the war owned a sweets shop. It's like a candy shop. Anya and I bought always pastries there. He used to be a very rich man in Sosnowiec. This is my wife, and you know my nephew. Hello, Abraham. What are you all doing here? We're trying to get out of Poland. To Hungary? Yes, Anya and I are trying to arrange that too. The smugglers proposed to us how they would do it. And at the border, our partners will take you through the mountains. Whew, it's risky and very expensive. We spoke Yiddish that the Poles don't understand. And they're speaking in Yiddish here. So what do you think? I know, Mrs. Kauka, but I'm not sure about these two. Listen, I'll go first. If everything is okay, I will write back to you. The others want to think about it a little longer, but I'm ready to go now. Fine, fine. I agreed with Mandelbaum to meet again here. If it came out a good letter, we'll go. So they're letting the other two people go first to see how it is. They're going to wait for a letter back from them to show that it's safe. And then once they get this letter back that they're safe, they're also going to join them crossing the border to try to get out of the country. Page 151. But if ever I talk to this plan to Anya, no, Vladik, you're crazy. It's too dangerous. But if we hear from Abraham, we're safe here. Forget about Hungary. But what do we do if the Gestapo comes to search for illegal goods? What if a neighbor notices us through the kitchen window? I'm not going. Well, what if her husband finds out about us? Even the boy could let something slip. This war could last another 4 or 5 years. What do we do when our money runs out? Please. In Hungary, we could be free to walk the streets again like human beings. I've always taken care of you. Trust me. I'm so scared. Don't do it, Mr. Spiegelman. I know it's just not safe. You don't know anything about these smugglers. It's like talking to a wall. We won't go unless we hear that our friend got through. I've had awful nightmares about your trip. Please, just stay with me. Wait, now where are you going? To visit my cousin and to see where he's hiding. If we do go to Hungary, he may be better off here with you. Milok helped me in Stordula. Maybe now if he needed, I could help him too. The janitor in the house Milok owned, so again, his cousin that he's going to visit, she hid him and his family, but oh boy, he was in a situation worse as I could imagine. I went to the janitor by trolley. Hello, I'm Milok's cousin, Vladek. Yes, he told me you might come. I have some company upstairs. I can't take you to Milok until they leave. Gentlemen, this is my cousin, Vladek. Hi, cuz, have a drink. So we talked, and they believed that I am her cousin. We're almost out of vodka. Bring me some more, Minka. There isn't any. Ha! She's hiding her vodka, just like she's hiding Jews in her yard. The janitor and I froze our blood from fear. If you don't put another bottle on the table right now, we'll tell the Gestapo about the Jews that you're keeping. Relax, fellows. Here's a few marks, Minka. Run downstairs and get another bottle for our friends. In 15 minutes, she came up with a bottle and they were happy. You see, your cousin knows how to entertain guests. To your health. We drank and we drank only near midnight until they finally went home. I think it's safe to go down now. Are you carrying food for Milok? I fed them earlier. This is just trash. The conditions how Milok was living, you would not believe. I always bring garbage so the neighbors don't get suspicious. Psst, Milok, your cousin is here. In each courtyard, there was a very deep hole to throw in all of the garbage. Inside this garbage hole was separated a tiny space, maybe only 5 feet by 6 feet. Vladek, I'm glad you're still alive. My God. I looked down only for a second, but in there was living Milok, his wife, and their 3-year-old boy. So this is basically inside of this trash bin in her backyard, down below, only 5 feet by 6 feet, and it's 3 of them living in that small space in this trash bin. So really horrible living conditions is where his cousin is living right now. How can you live there? You must be freezing. We have no choice, but at least our bunker is underground. And the decomposing garbage gives us some heat, but people know you're in there. I told him my story with the Poles upstairs. But what can we do? Listen, Anya and I might be going to Hungary. I explained our hiding place was not perfect, but better than his. I'll come again when I have more news. It's very late now. I must get back home. And I was lucky. Nobody made me any questions going back to 4.29. A few days after, I came again to the smugglers, and Mandelbaum was also there. Look, Vladek, my nephew is safe. They brought me a letter from him. It was in Yiddish, and it was signed really by Abraham. So we agreed right away to go ahead. So they get the letter from her cousin that says, from her nephew that says, yes, we made it to Hungary. We're perfectly fine. Come join us. You guys will see the letter in a second. But Anya just didn't want that we would go. Please, Vladek, call it off. But it's all arranged. I've already given them half their money. No, it's some kind of trick. Be reasonable. I saw Abraham's letter with my own eyes. Well, what did it say? Dear Aunt and Uncle, everything is wonderful here. I arrived safely. I'm free and happy. Don't lose a minute. Join me as soon as you can. Your loving nephew, Abraham. I don't know. We leave the day after tomorrow from the Katowice train station. And finally, I convinced her. So I went one more time over to Milok in his garbage bunker and directed him how he must go to 4.29 and hide. And you know, Milok and his wife and boy, they all survived themselves the whole war, sitting there with Matanawa. But for Anya and I, there was for us waiting another destiny. We came with no problem by the trolley car to our meeting point with the Mandelbaums and the smugglers. Everything's arranged. Here are your tickets. Do you have the rest of our payment? Yes, of course, here. Where is your partner going? He is phoning ahead to the men that are going to meet you at the border. He'll join us on the train, don't worry. But of course we did worry. So all of us together started on our journey. We traveled less than an hour until we came to Bielsko-Biala. Here I used to have my factory, and here is where the smugglers disappeared. There was a big commotion. The Gestapo came on every side. In Katowice, it was only to them that the smuggler phoned. Here they are. They marched us through the city of Bielsko. We passed by the factory once I owned. So we see here that this was actually a trap. They gave their money to the smugglers. The smugglers call the Nazis, and the Nazis come on the train to get them. And this was definitely a setup the whole time. We passed the market where we bought to eat, and passed even the street where we used to live, and we came to the prison, and there they put us. I had a small bag to travel. When they registered me in, they looked over everything. What is this, shoe polish? Yes, I like to keep myself neat. With a spoon, he took it out little by little, all of the polish. Well, well, a gold watch. You Jews always have gold. Wrapped in foil, I kept it hidden there. It was my last treasure. It was this watch that I got from my father-in-law when first I married Anya. Well, never mind. They took it and they threw me with Mandelbaum into a cell. Wait a minute. Whatever happened to Abraham? Who? Oh, Mandelbaum's nephew. Yes, he finished the same as us in a concentration camp. Yes, I'll tell you how it was with him, but now I'm telling here in the prison. Here we got very little to eat, maybe soup one time a day, and we sat with nothing to do. Andrew, is that door closed or open that he's talking through? Can you close it if it's open? Why don't they put us to work like the rest of you? It means you won't be here very long. Every week or so, a truck takes some of the prisoners away. Excuse me, do any of you know German? My family just sent me a food parcel. If I write back, they'll send another, but we're only allowed to write in German. I knew well how to write in German, so I wrote. In a short time, he got again a package. You did a great job. Take anything you want for you and your friend. There was eggs there. There were even chocolates. I was very lucky to get such goodies. A few days later, the trucks came. They pushed in maybe 100 of us. One more time, I was together with Anya. Here, darling, I have a present for you. Eggs? Cake? How? I had still things that I got by writing the letter. No, you keep it. I'm not hungry. Here, at least take half for later. We came to the town of Oswiecim before the war. I sold textiles here. And we came here, you guys can see the gates of Auschwitz here, the concentration camp. We came here to the concentration camp Auschwitz, and we knew that from here, we would not come out anymore. We knew the stories, that they would gas us and throw us in the ovens. This was 1944. We knew everything, and here we were. And then this is Artie talking to his dad again. My God, yes, so it was. And when they opened the truck, they pushed men one way, women to the other way. Anya and I went each in a different direction, and we couldn't know if we would ever see each other alive again. This is where Mom's diaries would be especially useful. They're going to give me some idea of what she went through while you were apart. I can tell you, she went through the same. Of me, terrible. It's getting cold. Why don't we go upstairs and see if we can find her notebooks? No, I looked already. It's just not to find anymore. Well, let's check out the garage. You've got loads of stuff in there. No, you'll not find it because I reminded myself what happened. These notebooks and other really nice things of your mother. One time I had a very bad day, and all of these things I destroyed. You what? After Anya died, I had to make an order with everything. These papers had too many memories, so I burned them. You burned them? Christ, you saved tons of worthless. And you, yes, it's a shame. For years, they were laying there and nobody even looked. Did you ever read any of them? Can you remember what she wrote down? No, I looked in, but I don't remember. Only I know that she said, I wish my son, when he grows up, that he would be interested by this. He was obviously very upset here. He uses some language. You murderer. How the hell could you do such a thing? To your father, you yell in this way? Even to your friends, you should never yell this way. But I'm telling you, after the tragedy with Mother, I was so depressed then. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I'm sorry. Look, Pop, it's getting late. I'd better get home. Come first upstairs for a little coffee. No, really, I better get it going right away. So telephone me. You should visit here more often. Don't be a stranger. Sure, you bet. So long. And then under his breath, as he's walking away from his dad, he calls him a murderer. So we really have to think about the ending here, why he's calling his dad a murderer, because his dad didn't actually kill anybody, right? But we do find out that his mom had been writing all of these diaries from her time in the concentration camps and what she went through in World War II, and everything from her perspective. And we find out that his dad was kind of lying about the diaries earlier. He had them the whole time and he burned them. He set them on fire. And now Artie is never going to get to read these diaries that his mom wrote from that time in her life. So that is the end of this book. There's actually 2 of these. There's a Maus 2. So there's another graphic novel. And what that is it takes place when they are in Auschwitz. So that's where, this is a lot of stuff that was leading up to it. The second book is more of when they're in the concentration camps, what happens to him and Anya once they get to Auschwitz. But that's where this book leaves off. Let's take a look at the questions for today. So I'm going to go over these real quick with you guys, and then again, I'll be on here for a few minutes if you have any further questions after that. So question number 1 is the race strategy. What can you infer happened with the letter and Abraham? So you're going to go back to page 154. They get this letter from their nephew that says, oh, no, everything's totally fine. It went fine. You should come join us. But we find out that that really wasn't the case, right? And the smugglers outed them, and the Nazis came and found them instead, that it was all a setup. So what can you make an inference to about what really happened with that letter and the nephew Abraham? So go back to that page to look for that answer, and as the race strategy. Number 2, why do you think Artie calls his father a murderer at the end, and is he justified? Again, knowing that his dad didn't actually kill anybody, but he does set his wife, Artie's mom's diaries on fire. He burns them, he gets rid of them. So why do we think that Artie is calling his father a murderer at the end? And is that justified? Does he have a right to be so angry with his father for that? Number 3, you do not need text evidence for this. This is just your own personal response. This is not a full race strategy. Which part of the book was the most interesting to you? Which part stood out to you? What did you learn from reading this book that you didn't know before? So you're going to answer those 3 questions below. And again, it's just your personal experience. Finally, number 4, you don't have to complete. This is just if you do. Ms. Cheeseman and I talked about doing just an online book club for the second book. It wouldn't be questions involved or anything. It says here the book club would be reading the book, some together and some on your own each week, and then getting together on a Zoom call once a week just to have a discussion. It will not be doing race strategies and multiple choice questions. So it's not like homework like we've been doing with this book. It would be more like, let's just read the book together and talk about it. And that would be the second book in this graphic novel series. It is also online, so if you're interested, just write here whether or not you want to do the book club with us, and if you do, Ms. Cheeseman and I can get us started on that probably next week or the week after. All right, so those are the questions that I have for you guys today. And Leighton, hopefully I answered your question about part 2. Because that would be, we're not going to do that in class per se. It's going to be more of like a book club format. If people want to read the second book, we'll do that together. All right, guys, so you have those questions I just went over. I'm going to be on here for a few more minutes if you have any questions, and then I have to end a little bit early today. So if you have any questions about any of those, please go ahead and ask them now in the next like 10 minutes or so. Starting with number 1, again, the race strategy, you're going to have to go back to page 154. Abraham sends them a letter and says, oh, it's fine. The smugglers got me out of the country. Everything went well. We're fine here. You should come join us. But we know that that wasn't actually what happened. So what can you infer actually happened with their nephew Abraham in that letter? Make sure you use text evidence from the chapter. I'm going to be eating my noodles for a little bit here. That's okay, Cruz. Thanks for joining us today. I wish that I could get everybody noodles. They're delicious. Yes, Jayla, that's a great answer for number 2. Good job. Yeah, good job on number 3. Okay, yeah, that's good, Alicia, for number 3, thanks. How do you eat with chopsticks? So you think about like holding a pencil, and you kind of do that, and you have to balance with like your thumb here, your middle finger is on top, and then this is like layered on top here, like this. And then you use this one to separate them. It'd be easier if I showed you in person. I actually taught a couple of kids last year how to eat with chopsticks. Yes, I love ramen. Going to be on here about 8 more minutes, guys. If you have any answers that you want to send me, or if you're confused about a question, whatever it is. Number 1's a little bit tricky, but if you go back to those pages, hopefully it'll make sense. Yes, Tavana, that's a great answer for number 2. Good job.